some fun ones there.
Here we go. What are we looking at?
That would be my first summer, and that's Scott Olson's sister Nancy. And so
Okay.
we're in the dining hall hanging out, but
Did you know her,
it,
Tom?
I don't think I've ever met her, Don.
Yeah. Can you see the Olsen in her?
Well,
yeah, she was
yeah,
probably. Can you see the Olson in the face and the hair?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's hard to mistake. Okay.
But we look like we're 12. There's the ball man. So look how little Mikey is.
Yeah,
He,
that's
he was just
amazing.
a little pipsqueak. Mr. Ballman and I had a um I was a sailor, and every day it was windy and I was working in the afternoon, he would see me pining out the window. So we made a deal during the season that if it was a windy day, he would come and work in the afternoon, and then I would close at night and he would take Pat out to dinner in Amsterdam.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
So it worked out really well for both of us in that scenario. So
I love it.
oh, oh, that's
What
when it was called the dockside.
the memory I have of Mr. Ballman when the one summer, I guess it would have been 88, I was team director. And so we did s'mores up at Peck's Grave.
Great.
Like we did s'mores a couple different ways, and he would just give me like a full box of Hershey chocolate bars. I mean, I think there were like 36
Yeah.
bars in that box, and I was like, it felt illegal. It felt like a drug deal that he was handing me this illegal, amazing box of chocolate, and we would only use, 80% of it. So the rest of it, came back to the Point Clintel with me and Don.
Of course.
But
I know
yeah,
you do the right thing too. Yeah. I know you do the right thing, Thomas.
he didn't, it like,
You know, I don't know if
he didn't understand how, like, it felt for me. He's just, hey, here's your stuff for your campfire. Go take it. I'm like, this is amazing. Chocolate
trust
bar. Yeah.
me, he knew where he knew where and I think I may have told you this story, Don, and I don't know if I ever told Scott. When Scott Olson first was working in the teepee, he was 16, and he pulled me aside one day and he said, "Listen, there can't possibly be enough food on that plate of 4 pieces of meat for this young man at his height and his age. He's got to be starving. So let him eat more than his $3 a day at the grill, and let him get an extra hamburger or a hot dog in, because I know he's got to be starving." He goes, "Steer him away from the candy counter, but let him eat over at the grill." I thought that
That's,
was always really sweet.
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So,
Yeah.
but I thought
That's funny.
that was sweet that he paid attention.
Yeah, though you know what it speaks to though how Mr. Ballman was representative of the people that were in camp leadership. I remember Cliff Thompson telling Tom and me that for all of the effort, the calories that they burned every day walking those things up and down the stairs in commissary, like there was an understanding um,
Yeah.
that at mealtime they would let those guys power chow. Like they knew there was a caloric intake they had to sustain, and
Right.
kind of a
Well,
wink,
isn't
wink, wink.
it,
Yeah.
in one sense, isn't it the fuel that runs camp?
In a way, it's a thread behind the scenes that you're right. The young
Yeah.
people right. So, but
Just
they
feeding the
got it. Like
machine.
Mr. Ballman got it, and Dot and Ken Reed, and they're like, yeah, let's whatever we got to do to give these guys what they need. Yeah.
I wonder if Scott's aware of that. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, we'll
I
have
don't
to
know.
ask them,
I
right?
don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
I
a
don't
good
know if
one.
I ever told her or not.
I
Yeah.
But
think he needs to know.
He's gonna hear it. Yeah.
they were sweet
He should
people.
hear
And oh, there it is. Oh, your dad's not standing behind the bench there, but that's me and my little roughing
All right.
with
Yeah.
my nice knee socks there. Lovely.
Yeah, very in style.
And you would have played in the women's basketball game
Yeah.
earlier. So that's a long
Yeah.
road
The
for you.
That is a
The
long.
women, the women's guest versus staff
Yep,
I
I
played
watched
in. Usually
those
my
Okay.
games, and they were was some
Let's be
impressively
honest.
good basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, let's be
yeah
honest. You never lost that game, did you? No,
no
no.
no we
Okay.
went undefeated.
Thank you. Thank you for being honest.
No,
There you go.
oh there I am. That must be a little later. Oh, that's the guest bench behind there.
That's the
Ooh,
guest
I
bench.
mean, we need to get.
Yep.
Okay.
And if anybody cares, that's the end that didn't dry.
That's what I pictured,
That's
actually.
the spot right there.
Yeah,
It
that's what I.
wasn't the part in front of the stage where the pep band was. It was the other end. So
That's what I pictured.
Wow.
I guess it was a 50-50 chance, but
isn't that funny?
Okay.
It's
This.
because the door. I think the door was more annoying there because there were the two doors that went into that back room with the ping pong tables, and there was the main door there. At the other end, there was only one door, and no one ever used it, so no one was coming in and out of it. So there were three doors plus the upper door to the room that's upstairs where that little balcony is to the left of me in the picture.
yep.
So every time someone opened one of those doors, I would go bananas because it was just like dust.
Uh,
Have you ever seen a picture that just triggers a memory?
this is doing it for me
A
right
lot
here.
of times.
Yeah, this just triggered a memory for me. They used to do gymnastics practice in this gym,
Yeah.
Yep.
and I went in there one day and I challenged one of the gymnast girls. I said, and I think I was 18, so that's part of the problem right here. So I challenged one of the gymnastics girls, however far you can walk on your hands, I will walk 3 times as far as you. So this gymnast girl, she gets on the floor and she walks the entire length of the basketball court on her hands. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oops.
I walked down, back, and down again
No kidding.
and met the challenge, but I could not believe she walked that far, and
Oh, that is so funny.
it just
Wow.
reminded me of that story. It's so
Impressive on a
funny.
lot of levels there. Yeah.
I can actually smell. Can you smell
Yes,
what, just by looking at this picture, I can smell what that gym smells like.
exactly.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that is so wild.
Yep. Up in
What
the
a great
above
picture.
that balcony to
It's fun.
Beth's
There's a lot of
shoulder up there. Yeah, the balcony. I lived there for one summer with Keith
Yeah,
Young,
sure.
but there's like a closet with old soaps and toothpastes and whatever. But
Well, and
it was
there's a
hot.
room that stores a trampoline as well.
Yes, there is. That's
Yeah.
on the other side. That's Beth's
Yeah,
looking at it right
that's on the
now.
other side of the stage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
That
So,
is so funny. So
yeah.
those were my big reffing days with Al Fisher. And there's the famous
Okay.
tongs that caused the work crew that
So this
Dougie Schoen got from me.
we saw this when we were talking to Jimmy, didn't we? This was in between
Yeah. Yep.
our sessions. Yeah.
This did make it into the episode that actually aired. Yes.
Yes. But
Yeah, I
this is a
can't
better view
remember.
of it.
I held the picture up. You didn't have it yet.
No, this is a much better view of it.
So, but I started laughing because I didn't realize he actually had the weapon in his
Oh
hands.
yeah. What
Yeah,
a
you don't seem
character.
phased.
What a character he is. I love it.
Yep.
I gave him every chance. He was a good kid. He was just
Yeah.
flirting with the
Good.
girls.
Always. Yes.
What are you saying to him right there?
Yeah, what are you saying there?
I'm probably saying if you do this one more time, you're getting a work crew.
Fair enough.
Oh, I love
Because
that.
it would be rare for me to grab his cheeks like that, but I was trying to make a point. This was the last year of the Tentels were coming down after this summer.
Mm.
Okay.
And this is my floaty. And we have all these pictures, my sister and I, where we're out in the lake. We would tie our floaties together and anchor in a flotilla. And we had such bad rain this summer that there was this giant puddle. It's right down from the field house. If you hadn't been there in a while, they put Tentels where there used to be trees there. It's Wichita 2, which is now called something else, is down on the right-hand side past the cars.
Okay.
and Wichita would be to the left, down past that last longhouse. Yep. So that's where you're at. You're on that driveway heading down toward the soccer field, and they had lined that area with the last tentels that they took off the beach because they all the beach accommodations were now cabins. So they took the Dakotas and the Seminoles and they moved them backwards and they cleared out that land there and put it there. But this was the last summer that they were going to have tentels at all.
Interesting. So what year is this about?
So, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, that recent. Okay.
Yeah, was it before or after COVID? It may have been like 21.
Yeah.
But so I couldn't help myself. I put my floaty in the
That's a
in the
great
puddle.
picture.
Right.
That's a great picture.
I was actually in the floaty at one point, but no one was there with a camera. And then when I got out, just with the reflection and knowing that the tentels weren't going to be there anymore, it tickles me to think about it because I usually have my floaty in the lake all the time in front of the tentels. So this was the version of the waterfront tentel.
Yeah, I don't see the government issued brown paint on any of those though, Tom.
Yeah, it looks like they've redone that. So
So that's
the Fishers.
Mr. and Mrs. Fisher. So this would have been my first year in the teepee. After my Mr. Fisher used to call me Gopher, or Gof, because I was the
you were the
messenger the year before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he would call me Gof. Gopher.
Okay.
Go for this.
Never
go
met
for
them
that.
either. I never met them either, Don. I guess they were
Interesting. Okay. So
He's still around. He was head of the volunteers for a long time. And Linda Fisher was my I think my second head girls counselor back in the day, their daughter. But
so they preceded the Ballmans, Tom, by I mean maybe just if you were there 86 to 88, that might have been like just a year or two.
okay.
Yeah, you would have just missed the Fishers.
Yeah.
And
Were they from like Minnesota or?
Yep, he worked for the University of Minnesota.
Yeah.
He was a professor there.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, Doug Dietke mentioned something in his podcast, and Tom, you used the word before too about trigger memories. Like this is a trigger memory for me just to see those faces. And wow.
They did it for a long time too, Tom. I mean, it was a really long time. And then on Sunday nights in the recent years, when they would do a full staff meeting, the teepee staff used to miss the staff meeting, but they had volunteers that were generally former staff, like Bobby Ballman and some of the other people would come and volunteer to work the teepee on Sunday nights so that it was the full staff up in the staff meeting. And Mr. Fisher would supervise the volunteers because he obviously knew how the teepee ran from doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, nice.
And this is a great picture because we want to as guests.
So that's why I threw it in. Here's the throwdown. Come on, on, ladies.
You set the table, Beth.
That's a picture. The picture in Girls Park.
So what year would this be?
80. What years were you there, Tom?
6 to 8.
I want to say this could have been 85, 86.
Okay.
So Girls Park
somewhere in there.
So that's the bottom of
Yeah, I still didn't have my David Thompson haircut yet, so it may have been 85. Because I think I had my spiky hair just like David Thompson's in 86.
So I see the greenery behind that. So that is that this side?
The uphill would have been right behind that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the uphill was right behind us.
Got it.
Yep. Whatever happened is Girls Park still there?
Yes and no. All the little cabins are gone, and it's a very large Xiphus. It's a dorm, kind of like Orondaga but bigger, and it's beautiful on the inside.
Because again, triggering with all those trees there, I just remembered I carved my name and Lori's name in a tree back there.
It
I
could it
want,
could still it could still be there. They left as many of the trees as they could when they built it.
Huh.
So it's still the new building for the staff there is still engulfed in greenery, but
okay.
the bathrooms are inside, so you don't have to wave at everybody coming up the hill when you would go outside to use go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Yeah. Tom, I got a feeling this picture is going to surface again here in the next. Yeah.
I think it should. It
Yeah.
absolutely should. Love it. All right.
So I think there's a Jackie Lutz picture that we took right after that in the same
I saw that in
spot
the slide. Yeah. Let's see. I think
that
I
was
saw.
with all the podcasters. I think I sent you all the pictures I had of everybody you've already had on the podcast.
I don't
Yeah.
have that one. That didn't come in the email you just sent,
This
Tom.
one with Kim. That might have been from before. We'll find a way.
That was the first email I sent you, Don. So it's
Uh,
probably the lowest one on your. But
There are
let's see.
I did miss two pictures. Let me see. Let me get them here. I'll go this way through my email.
What the?
because there's another.
Saw those. We
There's
saw
Nancy.
that.
Yep, we did
This one.
those.
We didn't see this one.
Yeah, we didn't see this one. That's John Hagedorn, the famous drummer.
Uh-huh.
He and
I've had contact
that's
with
Susie
him.
Sponholz, Ruthie Sponholz's sister, older sister. They were our waiter and waitress one year. So I think my dad took that picture, but I happened to
Yeah.
have the picture because we had talked about John, the drummer.
Ah,
There's the Rumsies.
yep. Jim and Carol Rumsey. That's awesome.
He's got an ice bag because Carol turned her ankle in one of those women's basketball games, so he
Oh,
brought her a
no.
bag of ice. That's the puddle.
Yeah, that's it for the pictures
Okay.
So
on this one.
he missed one of the.
Oh, come on.
I found a quick picture of almost everybody you've had on the podcast already.
Yeah. All right, we will make sure to get them in there.
We've always been behind your whole let's tell some stories about camp because it's we thought it was awesome that the book was coming out because those of us who have still been in contact, that's all we do is tell stories about camp.
Oh, well, I have to
because
talk with both of
it's
you about some ideas I have about the second book that in my head seem like good ideas, but if they don't materialize, I just kind of want both of your opinions and Jim's about how I can.
Why wouldn't they materialize?
Anyway, that's a tease.
you found it.
A couple others.
So
Uncle Bob looks like a cereal.
There's your Uncle Bob and Jerry.
There you go.
Your Uncle.
Yeah.
Look
That's a
at
great
chicken
picture
nuggets
with
were
Jerry, though.
chicken nuggets.
Yeah, look at the prices.
Chicken nuggets were $1.75.
$1.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, so glad we found this.
And then the picture of your Uncle Bob and Jerry was at the staff party at the end of the year. There's Cliff.
There's Cliff Thompson. Look at that camera.
That's a cutting edge piece of equipment there.
And to think he turned out to be a surgeon.
There's your uncle and I.
Yep. Great pick.
I can't quite read those. Afloat.
I know it's
Where's the Mr. Sippy?
Mr. Sippy. There he
there's
is.
you and I.
And
There you go.
let's-
Yeah.
Yeah, we still haven't. I forgot to show that to my brother-in-law to ask him.
Yeah. I still
Yeah,
think it's
what-
a journey. I still think it is. I
Yeah, actually, that might be a journey.
could be. I had rough t-shirts too. I know I did from. Yeah, but
Yeah, we'll have to figure out what that one is.
That's a ride.
they were hot back then.
There's Ed.
There's
I
that.
thought maybe your dad might be in the back of this one because he used to stand
There you
right
go.
behind the bench there.
Wow.
Mike Ballman, man.
Yeah, he looks intense.
Yeah, he does. But that's where your dad used to stand, right?
Hey.
That
Doug
I
Dietschy.
had, before I graduated, Doug Dietschy had taken one of those Instamatic cameras, and this is his version of a selfie back in 1980.
Oh, it's amazing.
So I didn't know he had, we had to wait for the film to be developed.
That's
So when I
right.
got it back, I was
That's
like,
right.
when did you do this?
I love that.
He goes, you left it sitting on the table.
It's
There's
such a
Eddie Shoot on the left, right?
Yep, such a devious smirk he had.
Yeah.
Don Miller.
Don Miller. Okay.
Don Miller.
Oh, I'm glad we found these pics.
That was from the teepee picnic
Okay.
from the first year the Ballmans were
There's
there.
Jackie.
Jackie, yeah.
There's Jackie.
Yeah.
That's in the same spot, only to the left. This is a more recent picture of Jimmy and I on his birthday.
All right. This is a good way to wrap it up, unless I feel bad if you have other pictures, then I'm going to be like, oh, Kim.
There's
Oh,
Kim
Kim.
Mox.
Yeah, who's she with?
Her name was Renee. I'm
She looks
having a hard
familiar.
time remembering her last name. I'll have to look it up in the staff directory.
She looks
But that's
familiar.
Kim.
But of course,
She
Kim.
worked in the office, I think.
Uh,
Then they knocked down Comanche. Remember up from the point there, it was Comanche. The tennis courts were behind it.
yeah.
The Comanche.
What did he do?
They knocked it down, and it's now an accommodation for larger families. It has bedrooms in it.
Okay.
That's
Wonder if there's a dead bass in one of those.
I was just thinking that. Like, is this I thought this was a furniture pile from dead animals that found their way into furniture.
Believe it or not, that they had left some of the furniture in it because Jimmy pulled that chair out
He's sitting
and
in there.
decided to sit in it for the picture. And I think there's a chair or something up. It's one of the luggage racks up on top that they used to keep in the closets.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust furniture in a dump pile because, yeah.
It could lean.
Oh, we were just being goofy, but
You got the
he
pick.
just
You got the pick, and that'll live on forever. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That's how we memorialized Comanche. And then was there? Let's see.
That was it. That was
Okay.
it for pictures. Yeah.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
our attention to those that we didn't got to include them. So nice job, Beth.
Well, Beth, I really, really hope this recording takes.
I'm not touching anything.
Yeah.
My hands are out here.
I'm confident it will, but
I know what I did. I'm not. Tom, you got this. I'm.
Yeah, this one will be on me. if it doesn't
That's
work.
pretty funny.
It is pretty funny.
That's okay. It was on me that my computer auto updated. Oh my
That's
goodness.
We had a little break. We had a little more time to catch up than usual. So, how much fun being with you again, Beth? It was fantastic. And as expected, you guys did so much better this time reading.
Thanks.
So the dry run was well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And we got to be deep. We were serious.
did.
There was like meaningful content in this episode. Amazing.
Question number 9. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll have to, if we're ever feeling like we got to take it down a different route, we'll say go to number 9.
Well, let's be honest though. Don
that was good. Yeah,
Don did pose it to you as a joke, but
no, she anchored. That was
very good.
beautiful. No, it's true too.
We all have some kind of purpose.
Yeah.
But camp has been such a I don't know, it was funny. I remember I was like, what do I want to be on Facebook for? And then I was like, oh, it might be nice to keep up with a few of my Houghton friends. But truth be told, it's the camp people that find you. And it's the camp people that, have a lot of stories and a lot of memories and are definitely, there's an undeniable, I laugh at Jackie Lutz when she was talking about her husband. You really do either get it or you don't. And I can understand, the other perspective, but when you do get it, it is a tight bond. And even if it was someone that, I didn't spend much time with you, Tom, because you were toward the end of
Yeah.
my reign of terror, my 10 summers. But it it even when you don't, the stories just cross, they kind of cross weave,
Yeah. Totally.
and there's always people that are familiar, and the smells and the sounds and the sights. And camp has changed a lot, some of its buildings and different things, but you still can find those nostalgic pockets of, the smell and the laughter of children in the water,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people yelling at the golf course and screaming if they get a hole in one, and all those things are still there. And the piano and the organ playing, outside of the auditorium if you're late for church, and you hear it while you're running. And all those things are, the ice cream line and the Swedish fish and the people and the campfires and the those things are still there, and very recognizable. And you won't get lost if you go to camp. It's not like the roads have changed or anything like that, but the spirits and the things that keep us all bound are still there, just with new people making, their connections and their relationships. And sometimes the generations cross and sometimes they don't. But, if we were all to set back foot, tomorrow, even in the snow, it would still have that feel to it, because you're there with the people that get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You'll appreciate this, Beth, too, because every year my mom makes a calendar for our families, like Amy and me, Connor and Claire, Tyler and Anna. And there were a couple of pictures that I took of us being on the beach that day that we all went back to camp this past summer. And Claire looked at that. She's like, "Oh, that was my favorite day of 2024."
Oh, that's cool.
Really?
Yeah. She said, "Oh yeah," and
That's
without
cool.
any, prompting, and she goes, "I can't wait to do that again." And you and Jim came by with a boat, and you don't have to do that every time, but what Chucky Wong
No.
provided, but that was just part of the experience. But I think it was really for her, and it was a 2-day experience because the next day we went to the service at camp. But the being at the beach and the teepee. I felt great for me because I felt like, for me promoting that we were going to go there, I didn't want to be obnoxious about it and oversell it or anything. So, if anything, I undersold it, except that, when we got there, we're there for that afternoon. We were like, okay, let's get going. Let's get over there. And it turned out to be, a compact. But so when we go back, we don't have to like cram everything in. But it was really gratifying to hear her say that. Like, yeah, that was my favorite day of 2024 was to be there. So
That's cool.
seeing the picture.
Well, we had to get him in a nautique. We had to get him on the water.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got him on the water in a nautique. Because,
well,
we were trying to give him a little experience of what it was like for us when we were, when we were close to their age.
Yep. Well, next book, I will feature a series of top 10 lists, and one is top 10 rejected names of correct craft boats featuring. They are hilarious.
I've seen some of that. Yes.
You wrote a good part of it.
Yeah, those are good.
You had some. They're really funny. Yeah. So anyway, just another.
I do have to tell you two boat boys a quick story. Lynn and Chucky Wong had sponsored a dinner, and it was Dave Anderson and
cool.
Paul Leonardo and their wives and everybody, were there, and Jimmy and I were sitting together, and I had to laugh because the subject always comes back around to the boats. And it was kind of funny because, it's like, what, every motor, every horsepower, everything was a known fact that was then reshared you know,
Yes.
and the yearly progression of when the boats in order were at the point, you know, to take people to Tapawingo. I mean, it was like this recreation of the yearbook of every boat that was ever at the point at camp. And
Wow.
it makes me laugh because it doesn't matter whenever, whether it's dinner, whether we see people in the teepee or even a smaller group or something. Like, it seems to me like the boat boy crew and the
Yeah.
folks that would spend time with the boat boy crew were it always comes back to a very
Well,
deep conversation
our
about
mutual
horsepower,
friend,
which
yeah,
boats were
mutual
in.
friend Jimmy Olsen is our ace in the hole. He
Yep.
knows he would be our go-to for all that. Yeah, love it.
And we can and
So
now that we know, you know, Walt Maloon has now joined everybody up in heaven there. You know,
Mhm.
his contributions to camp were much noted and still continued to is talked about for
yep, they left a legacy.
until we can't speak anymore.
Yeah,
They left
Don and I will talk about him at some point because we have a good college spring break story about him.
We do. I'm hoping to have
Awesome.
more to add to that as well. We'll see, but yes, that was a great story. Yep. So 1980.
So, and Walt was when I was a messenger, Walt was a very good tipper. I will say.
You said that right. You were like, "Woo! A message for Walt Balloon." All right, I got it.
Yep. The first time I tried to give it back to him, and I tried to give it back to him, and he said, "Nope, this is your tip." So I was like,
That's great.
Love it.
All right, fantastic.
So,
Beth, thank
all
you
right, guys.
for
Thank you, Beth.
kicking off season 1 as our first guest or season 2 rather, first
Season
guest
two.
of season
Season
2. Exactly the way
Well,
we were hoping you'd help us launch it. So
Yeah.
well, I'm glad to have made it through September and
Yeah.
to still be around to make it to a podcast
looks
for
like
the
you're
new
doing
year.
great. And we'll probably see you in coming a couple months, maybe weeks.
Yep.
Yep.
We gotta get Tom to make the trek sometime.
Oh, it's happening.
Yep.
It'll happen.
Good.
That'd be great. If I know there's
Sounds good.
a certain time this coming summer where there could be a meeting of that. So we'll see.
Perfect.
Be awesome.
All right.
I feel like someone should be saying as you go down the mountain now.
All right. Not touching anything, Tom.
Nope, I'm gonna pause the recording. So goodbye, Beth.
Bye. Great to see you guys.
All right.